Do you suspect your bank may have pulled a fast one? Wondering if your lender cut corners and broke the law with your loan like they did with millions of others? Today I'm going to tell you about how the banks got sloppy with millions of loans, created fake or flawed documents, and how you may be able to take advantage of this to avoid foreclosure. Hi, I'm Jim Keaveney of the Keaveney Legal Group. We are a New Jersey and Pennsylvania-based law firm that focuses on foreclosure defense and helping those the banks took advantage of to stay in their homes. Join me today as we explore this topic together. It seems like almost every day we come across another loan where the bank did something wrong and created documents incorrectly. This can happen in a number of ways, but the consequences can have a huge impact on your case. In some instances, the lenders actually have to redo defective transfers. In others, the party bringing the suit finds out that they do not even have legal standing and they have to drop the case. And in some instances, courts have even ruled that mortgage is not valid and dismissed the bank's claims entirely. So what are the most common defects? Let's discuss a couple of them. Robo-signing. This was the practice of having documents signed and notarized with a computer. Although by law the documents required an actual person to sign the documents before a notary, the banks cut corners and had computers do it for them. The problem was that the documents often contained errors, things that were signed and notarized that should not have been, and the whole process violated the law and potentially rendered the documents fraudulent. Another common defect was created by the Mortgage Electronic Registration System, or MERS. MERS is a holding company designed to track and catalog servicing rights on mortgages. Unfortunately, during the housing boom and bust, it also became a part of the problem and created a great deal of confusion as to who actually owned the servicing rights to millions of mortgages. Multiple transfers, electronic signing, identically named parties, and a number of other problems caused loans that passed through the MERS system to be susceptible to challenge for being fake or otherwise defective. Many loans were simply not transferred correctly at all. For example, one loan might be transferred to two or more parties who both thought they had the right to collect and foreclose. In still some other instances, the loans would be improperly lumped into a group of loans and held as a security. But the transfer would happen after the grant period, or would not be recorded or include the wrong information. As a result, often the transfer was not legal and the wrong party is trying to foreclose. Along the same lines, a lot of banks cut corners and failed to get all the proper paperwork when they worked out a transfer. As a result, they actually may not have a copy of your actual note and mortgage. In the past, that was not much of a problem, and the bank could just file an action to reestablish the lost documents. But those lawsuits require that the bank actually had the documents at some point and misplaced them. With all the transfers that occurred after the housing boom and bust, most banks never actually touched the physical documents. They're now asserting they have the right to foreclose on them even though they did not have the documents. As a result, the bank may not be able to prove that it has standing to sue and foreclose because it does not have the documents. Often, the loan was invalid from the start. In the rush of the housing boom, lenders began engaging in predatory lending, or the act of giving loans to borrowers under false pretenses, knowing that the borrower would never be able to repay. For example, lenders would artificially increase the value of the home, fraudulently alter documents to misrepresent down payments, or take actions to secure loans for people under circumstances that were less than honest. In those instances, the loans may have been invalid from the inception, and the bank may not have had the right to foreclose. These are just a few examples of problems that can render your documents unenforceable and help you avoid foreclosure. Of course, every case is different, so we recommend that you contact an experienced and qualified attorney. Here at Keaveney Legal Group, we are dedicated to helping those facing foreclosure. We understand both the foreclosure process and how to use these defects in the lending process to help you obtain a better result. In some cases, we help you avoid foreclosure entirely while remaining in the house. For more information, you can email me at jim@keaveneylegalgroup.com or give us a call at 1-800-219-0939. We'll be happy to discuss your case with you. I'm Jim Keaveney, and thanks for watching.